Hello, everyone. My name is Wahidullah Lutfi. I'm very excited to teach you shell scripting with Bash today. And this is going to be a complete course with shell scripting using Bash programming language or Bash interpreter in this case, and it is called Born Again Shell. The previous version was SH, which was Born Shell. And the new one that is updated, it's a superset of Bourne shell and corn shell. It's called the Bash. Bash shell scripting is very useful. That's why I'm going to offer you on this session today to learn it, and I'm very excited to teach you that one. So it is going to be a complete course. Let's go to the next session here. If you look at this is on the Linux platform, and shell scripting, the shell itself is called Bash, Born Again Shell, as you can see. And I'm going to have the complete course, everything you need to know about shell scripting. That's going to be taught by me, Wahidullah Lutfi. And I'm going to cover the nuts and bolts of shell scripting on this video. Please stay tuned, because you're gonna see, and the shell is the interface to the kernel. All the shells that I'm listing here: Bourne shell, corn shell, CSH, which is C-like syntax for C shell, the TCSH, which is through C shell, or you could call it trusted C shell. And there's all kind of name for it, but it is TCSH. That's how it is pronounced. It's a C-like syntax, which is a superset of C shell, and then ZSH, which is the latest and greatest shell that is kind of a superset of all of these other shells, and it's kind of like extended Bash with themes and plugins and other features. But I'm going to cover mostly all of them, yet 90% of this session will be dedicated for Bash shell scripting, Born Again Shell. As you can see from this icon, Born Again Shell. That's what I'm going to cover. And my name is Wahidullah Lutfi again. We're going to just cover these skills. All Unix and Linux shells, whether it is Unix Solaris like BSD, or FreeBSD, or Mac OS X, which is also a BSD Darwin version, or Linux platform, which could be Fedora, could be Debian distribution, could be any Linux flavor, whether it's Red Hat or CentOS or Rocky or Linux Mint or Linux Ubuntu, any of those flavors, we will discuss them. The Bash shell itself, I'm going to cover more. And the reason I'm covering Bash is extremely useful and extremely used everywhere. I taught one of the Bash courses, Bash shell scripting with Unix and Linux at Pasadena City College one semester. It was really useful because you learn all kind of shell scripting with Bash and graphical user interface, as well as command lines, as well as interactivity. So I'm going to cover a lot for you here today, including Bash shell scripting, and stay tuned. Before we go further, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Wahidullah Lutfi. I'm a computer scientist by professional. I hold 2 degrees, both Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, as well as Master of Science in Computer Science from Cal State University, Fullerton. I have also had a lot of full-time job, including my current one at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which I have been doing enterprise system analyst for as in the past 7 years. Before that one, I was senior system admin for Computer Science Corporation for 13 years, working for Jet Propulsion Laboratory, NASA. And also before that one, I had had a system administration with web hosting companies. So 21 years I've been working with Jet Propulsion Laboratory, NASA, doing sysadmin and then enterprise system analyst position. Before that one, I had a senior position at web hosting company, as well as Optum Software, as well as a lot of other prestige companies that I had mentioned. And then some of them I also had, while I was working full-time, I was also working part-time as a adjunct faculty, because I have my master's degree in 97. And since I was taking my master's degree, I was teaching some courses at Computer Learning Center first in 97, and then later on at National University. With my master's degree, I was qualified to teach computer science courses, operating system, database, compilers, C, C++, shell scripting, all kind of courses for 4 years part-time. And then I also taught at Cal State Fullerton computer science courses like Oracle database, Windows NT, operating system, and then related courses at Pasadena City College. And for 2.5 years, I taught a lot of Python programming language, C, C++, and also Unix, Linux, Bash scripting at Pasadena City College. So I do qualify to teach you this course, and I'm hoping that you get a chance to watch these videos and learn from it, and help yourself and help your community, and then do better at the school, better at your jobs, and everything else that you desire to do. With that in mind, I also have many Unix and Linux cybersecurity certification, including Solaris certification. In 2003, I was certified Solaris because my job required it and I had to take it. So I was certified, and then also I have other Red Hat and other Linux and cybersecurity certification. Some of my cybersecurity certification is including the NASA sysadmin cybersecurity certification. So I have had a number of Java classes and certification and programming and other things with LinkedIn and lynda.com. So I have had many certification, but I am going to be very excited to teach you here. I hope you just watch these channels and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you could benefit the skills that I'm trying to pass on to the next generation. And as you learn it, you could do the same for others. So the course outline that I'm going to cover today, we're going to talk about the terminal, which is the command line interface for the operating system. PowerShell on Windows also uses terminal. Windows uses command line, which is CMD or command, the terminal DOS prompt. But Linux have been using terminal from day one, and Unix has been using it from day one, and Mac is also using terminal. The terminal window that you open on Linux and Unix is called command line interface. So with that interface, you're able to use any of the shells that are the interface for you to connect. And then the shells are Bourne shell, Corn shell, Bash, CSH, TCSH, and ZSH. And these ones are going to be covered also. We're going to also talk about interactive shells, how to do interactive shell scripting from command line without writing it into a shell script file. So we're going to discuss that one and then show you some of the benefits and the disadvantages that could be harmful if you don't know the syntax correctly, or make a typo or mistakenly something. Then I'm going to discuss that one as well, how to be careful. Shell scripting and portability. Shell scripting by default, whether you use it on Bourne shell or Corn shell or C shell or True C shell or ZSH, if the platform that you're using, whether it's Unix or Linux, mostly shells are portable. However, the syntax of the command that you pass on in your file that is not portable. So for example, if you're on a Mac, command line syntax or writing a script for the Mac, if you take that source code, since it's on BSD version, about 80% of it is similar commands. For example, let's say you're using ZFS, ZFS will be working also on Solaris. Or if you're using PKG, PKG would be also used on Solaris platform, but not on Linux. On Linux, the Debian would use apt or snap, and then Red Hat and Rocky and CentOS would use DNF in yum repository. All of those commands, or RPM, Red Hat package managers, all of those ones varies depending on the platforms of the OS. So you have to just know that if you're running like services, systemctl would be working on Debian as well as a Fedora distribution, but not on Solaris distribution. You have to use the SVC ADM instead of systemctl, service management facility commands. So we're going to discuss also web programming using shell scripting. And the web programming, you're basically connecting through secure page, and then you're going to authenticate through a secure shell. And then once you're there, you're remotely updating whatever shell script or cron jobs or automated backup or any script that you're running, you could run it there. And then the screen here that you see is an example of the terminals. So the Linux terminals, for example, it provides you everything that you can do with Linux terminals from command line. So in Unix and Linux, everything can be done from the terminal or command line interface. By opening a terminal, you're issuing commands and you're executing it and you're running it, and you get the output either on the display, the standard output, or onto a file or some other machine remotely. So the terminal is your command line interface to the operating system. The operating system, the main part of the operating system is called the kernel. The kernel is the core part of the operating system. The shell is the interface to the Unix operating system kernel. So when you're talking to the kernel, you have to make a request as a regular user, and then on the shell, you issue the command saying, I want to read this file, or I want to access that file. The operating system is going to run the daemons, processes, and checks using the kernel interface to see if you have the right permission to read that file, if the file exists, and if the ownership and group and other permissions are all set correctly. And if it's so, it will just talk to the hardware and read the portion of the data on behalf of the user with a root privilege access. And it's going to just read that portion, and it's going to send it back to the terminal to your command lines, the output, and you will see the output there. So the kernel is the interface between the shell and the interpreter, which is bash or C shell or through C shell and other ones. And then the kernel is also the core part of the operating system. It is included the daemons, system daemons, and as well as device drivers and all the binaries that are part of the operating system that is listening to your request. Like for example, system D is one of the main processes, and net was the previous one. System 5 release 4 was init, and then system 7 is system D, and then system D with journal D and system CTL, another one firewall D. All of those ones are system D related. We're also gonna show you that web use secure shell SSH or scopy. Secure shell SSH is allowing you to authenticate securely with encryption onto on the remote side, so all the data is encrypted, and then vice versa, it is decrypted, and you are reading it in text and writing it in text, but it will be on the network. It will be going as packet of encryptions, and that the data cannot be sniffed by a hacker or someone man-in-the-middle attack, and that is a software secure shell is very secure, and it's very good kind of a strong cipher keys and everything else is part of it. So you should be practicing with a secure shell, not the old style of clear text with telnet or rcopy or scopy, not scopy. There was remote copies, R commands we call it. And those ones are all kind of like old legacy of Windows 95 and previous to that one. But with even with Windows NT, TCP/IP packages were introduced. Secure FTP, secure scopy, and secure SSH is available for so many years now, and it is great to use it. So the terminal, we are going to show you a Linux Ubuntu interface here. The Linux Ubuntu, as you can see, I have all the icons here, as well as I open a terminal here. The kind of reddish background is my terminal, the command line, which you click on this one here or right click here and open it, which I'm going to show you all of those ones afterward when we get to the lab activity. But when you open the terminal, you're just having a $ prompt depending on what type of shell you're using. If you're using the SH or kernel shell or bash or ZSH, not ZSH actually, but ZSH has a different prompt. What Bourne shell, kernel shell, and bash, you will see this $ symbol. You can always set it to whatever prompt you want. $PS1 would be the value of it, would be to the shell that you want to do it. If you want to put it a host name, all the information, you can do so. And then percentage would be for C shell and true C shell. And true C shell has like greater sign symbol. I will show you all of that one as well. But once you log into the machine, you're getting this shell, and then you can type in any Linux command that is valid Linux command. So the commands usually you type in on a bash, for example, and the way I'm seeing here, that when I did a PS, it shows bash. And if I say echo $, it shows the process ID of that one is 24191, which is the same process ID here for this bash command line interface. And then for the bash interpreter in this case. If you look at that bash, and if I say echo $ shell, the environment variable shell, all uppercase, is also pointing to /bin bash. And then when I did here get entry from password on my ID ID-U user name, that would return Wahid, and then Wahid is going to just have the shell bin bash, similar to what I'm showing here, bin bash. So this prompt interface is that you can do as many commands as you want, and you get output. For example, here I run the xclock command. The xclock is external or org kind of utility that you could just get it on Linux Ubuntu. And if you don't have it, you have to install it. You can install the software using the terminal also. On Linux Ubuntu, for example, you use apt to application package toolkit, or snap. Snap D as the snap package handler, or the Debian package manager as a DPKG. DPKG is the one. So you could also use the xclock with ampersand here. Ampersand meaning running it in the background. So the command prompt just return back to you, and it gives you a background process ID on it. It says the first background process ID is 1 here, and then this is for the xclock. So I could get that second $ prompt back, and then I get to run the next command, xcalc. In this case, since xcalc spit out some information that is a kind of warning. If I want to avoid the warning, I send that one to this greater sign, meaning send the output of those standard output of this one to dev null. And then this is greater sign, meaning that instead of displaying it on the screen for me, just send it to no device. This dev null is kind of dev 0. It is just going to blank it out. It's going to lose it completely, destroy that output warning. So 2 greater sign &1, meaning that send the standard error also to where the standard output is. In this case, the standard output is dev null. So any error also is going to go to this dev null. And then I'm getting the display here, and you can see that displays are there. So with this terminal, I'm just showing you that this is a nice interface that you can have, and you can click on here, open as many as you want, and then I'll show you some of those ones also here. In addition, you can also see another terminal that I changed the background, and instead of the darkish red, I changed it to darkish green. And then I also had the highlight to yellow, and then I highlighted this portion of it to just show you the echo $ shell is bin bash, and bash is PS is also showing the command line, and echo $ is pointing to the process ID of the bash. So you can just have these options for the terminal. The terminal is nice because you have this plus symbol. You could just open as many as you want on the terminal, and they could be tapped together, or you could open a new one, and you can just search on it, and you can do a lot of things: minimize, maximize, close it, and or exit. Type in exit, it will close it for you. And then this is just another example of the terminal. So the next thing is I'm going to cover is the shells. And then obviously for some of these ones, when we get to the lab activity, I'm going to demonstrate a lot of stuff, so stay tuned here. So the next module that we're discussing here is the shell. As you can see, we have the Bourne shell, which is SH, and then the Corn shell, which is KSH. The Corn shell is a superset of SH, and then you could do some of kind of command line modification of the terminal or the keyboard. You could set the terminal to VI, and then after that one, you could just use your keyboard with VI setting and so on. But there's a lot of other environment variables like export and the way it works versus the export with one line exporting a variable versus 2 lines on a Bourne shell. There was a lot of enhancement with the for statement and with arrays that were added on the Corn shell. So you do have those options as well. The C shell, which is very much like C-like syntax, and then the true C shell or trusted C shell or any other names that you could name it. The name is honestly not as important. It's the features that we are using it. It has the TCSH is a superset of the C shell. So it is just allowing you to do everything the C shell does plus more features. And then the Born Again shell bash is almost like a superset of SH, Corn shell, and true C shell. Whatever you could do with keyboards and information that you could do on the TC shell or Corn shell, bash by default, you could just use the up arrow, down arrow. You could do a lot of stuff that with previous version you couldn't do, and then bash is a superset of both of those other Bourne shell and Corn shell, as well as C shell and true C shell. But the syntax of bash is not like true C shell or C shell. It is more like syntax of Corn shell. The ZSH, which is an extended bash, everything that you could do with bash with ZSH you could do also. But ZSH also supports for plugins as well as themes, and then much more features. And then with graphics and images and everything, you can do a lot of coloring and everything. Although with bash you could do similar, and then with ZSH is a little bit more extended. That's why we call it extended bash. So sometimes depend on which one you might prefer to use. It's your choice, and I program on all of them for the past 30 years as Unix and Linux sysadmin or programmer software. I have been working on all kind of platform from AIX to Oracle Solaris to Mac to Linux to Red Hat to Fedora distribution, and then Debian distribution, HPUX, and all kind of Sun OS, Solaris, and then BSD, FreeBSD. I have worked on all of them and different shells, and then I have mentored a lot of admins and junior admins, all other people that they needed programming help or just support for kind of like knowledge information that I had done in the past. I have helped a lot of people, and I will do the same here. Hopefully, I will pass on some of my knowledge here. The ZSH, we talked about it. The next shell is the secure shell. The daemon is called SSHD, and the client is called SSH for secure shell and SCP for secure copy. And there's also secure FTP, which replaced the file transfer protocol FTP. Secure FTP is the secure version, but you can use scopy to do secure FTP as well. It is same thing. And then we're going to use SSH and SSHD for remote shells. Whenever you log in from one machine to the other one, you're getting authenticated to a different remote machine. But because your authentication is going through a secure encryption, you're safe to do so. Interactive shell scripting. As you can see, the color on the interactive shell scripting, I marked it red to remind myself and to remind you that whenever you work on the interactive shell, you have to double check to make sure that there's some of these kind of like small mistakes that anybody could do it is, and it causes issues, is as following. If you're on a production machine, make sure that if you're doing interactive shell scripting, you know what you're doing and you're 100% sure you have done that work 100 times or 10 times or 5 times, and you double check your syntax and you double check that you don't have any typo, you're on the right server, you're running the command at the right directory structure, with the right permissions. All of those ones are very important. And if you're just doing interactive shell scripting that requires a lot of commands, I would suggest that put it in a file, a shell script file, and run it on the development machine, test it more on the development machine, make sure you have backup of things that you're doing in case of you're doing some command like rm-rf or something that is a massive directory structure deletion. You make sure that you understand what is the side effect of that file. If it is not needed, yeah, it's development and you're practicing something on the demo, don't worry about it. But if it is something on the production and you want to just make sure that it has worked with other people's, you don't want to make mistakes there. So be very careful. That's why I mark it as red. A lab demo for the Bourne shell and the corn shell. I'm going to do the lab afterward when this presentation is done. I'm going to come back to each of these videos. This is page number 10. And so I'm going to discuss those ones. We are going to have lab demo for C shell and through C shell, lab demo for the Bourne again shell, bash, and lab demo for ZSH extended bash. And then lab demo also for the secure shell SSHD and remote copy. So shell scripting and portability. Every time you write a program, whether it's Python or shell script or Java or C or C++ or any other compiler or interpreter that you use and you want to write a program, usually you have to be able to port it to the next server. With shell scripting, whenever you do portability, there's an environment variable, an environment actually binary that you're doing this shebang, this pound exclamation mark. This is called shebang in Linux and Unix. The shebang on the first line tells it to just say use the user ben env, which is a binary, and then load the interpreter bash. So after this, as first line, the Linux or Unix operating system knows that, okay, I'm going to locate the bash interpreter using this env. Once I load it, then after that, on second line through the end of the file on the shell script, it has to have the right valid syntax for bash scripting. And then if it is just maybe a C shell, it will fail at the time. If this is env CSH or true CSH, you cannot put the syntax of bash, and vice versa. So if this is Perl, then the second line has to be Perl syntax. So env is very universal. That's very dynamic. When you put it user ben env on the shebang, then after that one, you could put bash, PHP, Python, Perl, any other shell, C shell, true C shell, or any Ruby, any of those interpreter, it will just go and find the interpreter. This is not a compiler. You don't put GCC here or G++. This is an interpreter. Interpreter is different than a compiler. An interpreter runs the code line by line, and if the second line here it does not have the syntax of bash script, then it's going to fail. If it has the valid syntax, it runs that line, then it's going to go to the second line, the third line, fourth line, and so on until the end of it. If all the syntax are good, then you are going to get an output, or at the output, you might have semantic errors, which is on your shell scripting. You may have a syntax error, which you have to correct it on the line that it occurs. But if you have semantic, at the time of running it, it's not going to detect that one. That one is only dynamically checked at runtime. So the semantic, like sometimes you meant to say equal sign, and you put for comparison, instead of putting equal sign, and bash scripting is the same as assignment statement. And then you could also use, depending on the string comparison or number comparison, -eq for equal, and then not equal, and so on. All of that information I'll show you on the examples. And so bash scripting is almost similar to PowerShell scripting, except that PowerShell, whenever you declare a variable, you have to put $sign in front of it. Bash scripting, before you declare it, you don't have to put $sign in front of it, but after you use it, you have to put $sign in front of it to get the value of it. So we're gonna just also do shebang with true C shell, ZSH, Python, Ruby, anything, you could do that one. But notice here, if you do something like a user ben env, and then I just have a typo here, this one I'm going to correct it. So this one was page 12, and then let's go back to here on page 12. This one I meant to say a space ZSH, and then that one, save it. So this time I'm going to say slideshow from current. And then on this one, you will see the correction is made. So there was a typo after env, I had /ZSH. So there's another type of syntax that you could do static. I said here in static type. A static type meaning that it is not dynamic like this. If you just say shebang user ben bash, and instead of env, you force it to say find the bash on user ben env, then if you, the user ben env does not have a bash, your program will not have a portability. If bash was installed on the /bin bash, then it will be a problem. But by doing it dynamically like this, env bash is going to find it no matter where it is, whether it's the user bin env user bin bash or /bin bash. It will find it. And the same thing with true C shell. So when you do it environment, it will just find true C shell, wherever is user bin true C shell or /bin TC shell. But at the same time, if you just did it statically, and instead of this env, you put /bin true C shell, the true C shell interpreter better be on user bin, otherwise your program will not work, and it will say bad interpreter. Similarly with Python, for example, similarly with Ruby, similarly with other ones. So in order to do this one with the shebang and then user bin env is a safer way compared to the other one. That's why I suggest that you should use this syntax. And there is also the colons syntax, that you can do colon syntax and then just put as many lines of I'm sorry, the colon syntax, which would be like this, and then just and instead of the whole thing, it will just run the shell itself there also. The lab demo for activity with different shells and different platforms. So I'm going to also do on the web show you different kind of shells as well as different platform, whether it's Solaris, whether it's Linux, Red Hat, Rocky, Linux Mint, Linux Ubuntu. Each one of those ones, we tested a few of them. And I have a number of VM that I built it for you, so I can demo them. Yes, this video is going to be long, but it's going to be long and strong for you. And it's going to be just give you a lot of strength, and it's going to teach you a lot. So stay tuned and learn here. And the web programming using shell scripting, I'm going to do a lot of my demo stuff that I have built it over years on MyWebUniversity.com. I wrote the entire maybe 32,000 PDF files on a combination of Windows and Linux and Python, and then C shell, Bash, and HTML and JavaScript, or a combination of all of them, including Bash scripting. So I'm going to show you the Bash part of it today. I will show you all the web programming for the interface and everything here. Here we're discussing all of those. One, especially Bash again, Bash born again shell. That is the main part of this shell scripting. I'm going to cover that one. And then I'm going to also SSH through the web server and my cloud, which is a Linux cloud on Linux Ubuntu. And I'm going to log in there, and then I'll demonstrate it here. But before we go there, let me thank you for just watching this video. We're going to just continue on with the lab. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Right now, I'm just want to introduce you to my website. First of all, as a summary, we discussed shell terminals, command lines, interactive shell scripting, about different type of shells, whether it's Bourne shell, Corn shell, Bash, CSH, true CSH, and ZSH. We also covered the secure shell, which I'm going to show you next. We also demonstrate the web using shell scripting. We're going to demonstrate it, and then thanks again for watching. And please make sure that you subscribe to our channel, because I need your help also. And when I'm just making all these videos, I want to make sure that people watch it, and that way I could take advantage of my time for just delivering something to the community that we are responsible for just helping. So if nobody's watching it, there's no need for me to spend my time on these videos. But as you subscribe, that's how you show your support. And as you make comments or like our channels, then I get encouraged to make a better videos and YouTube channels for you and help you further with your needs. And please subscribe and like and share our channels to your loved ones. Make sure you share with them, and sharing is caring. When you share with your friends, you are showing how much you care about their education and about your future. We all care about younger generation that are going to be our children or and the next our grandchildren or whoever. They all learn it and they all benefit from it. So show your support and share this website, because I have more than 1,000 videos here that are all computer science related topics. Just this one is over 32,000 PDF Python programs that I wrote, a Python program that generated. I'm going to show you the shell scripting of it, how I created all the menus for it and everything else. So there's a lot of nice videos on the channel, and then I'm going to expect you to watch them and enjoy them, and then go there and subscribe, please. Thank you so much for your subscription and watching the videos. So let's get back to the menu here. This is the channel that I was just telling you, and then if I just go and say switch account, and then I go to this account and I go to videos here, you can see here there's a lot of videos that you could enjoy. Secure Shell is one of the videos. So a lot of the shell scripting I have already posted here. You're welcome to watch these videos, whether it's on shell scripting on Red Hat or Rocky Linux or Linux Ubuntu. I have videos on them, and then I have covered a lot of scripting with shell scripting and Secure Shell and other ones. You can see here there's a lot of them. And then in addition, there are videos that are saying that from zero to hero on Rocky Linux, or full course of Rocky Linux, that I've covered a lot of command lines and Linux how-tos. So you will be learning a lot here on the website. For example, this class is Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9 from zero to hero. This one is about 4 hours video, but it will teach you from very basic of Red Hat to very advanced level. So you will be going from zero to hero at no time. Maybe 4 hours at no time. And so yeah, but 4 hours is not much compared to taking a class at college or universities, and every day is 3 to 4 hours lectures and hours. You watch one of these ones, and now all of a sudden you're doing great at your semester. And then here's for C++, header files and all of that. So there's a lot of stuff here. I'm going to just not bore you with that, but let me just show you what I have for you here. So I'm right now logging into a Linux Ubuntu virtual machine. And as you can see here, I'm logged on here. And then just let me just close this one, and then I'm gonna close the whole thing here. And then let's just show you first of all, on the Linux Ubuntu on the virtual box, I installed all of these virtual machines so I can demonstrate a lot of them for you. And then Linux Ubuntu is one of them. Is another one is Red Hat 9, another one is Rocky 9.2, another one is Solaris Unix operating system, and then Solaris 11.4, Rocky 9.2 algorithm, which is another Red Hat, and then there's more Rocky, and then Linux Rocky, and then Linux Mint that I just did that one the other day. So each one of these ones that you go right now, this one is running, and then the other one on the top is running. So if I just go to the first one on the top and I click on the show, this interface that was showing up here, it shows up here. See that? So if I go on the virtual machine on the Linux Mint, this is the interface, and right here, when I click on it, it is going to prompt me to just say, go ahead, log into the Linux there. The reason I'm showing you both platforms, or maybe later on, I'm going to close one of them and just show you another platform on the Rocky or Red Hat or Solaris. That way, Solaris is main one because that is not Linux, that is Unix. Solaris BSD version, Solaris, Sun OS we call it, and then it's based on BSD, Berkeley Software Distribution. But this is all Linux meant. So if I just right click here, say open terminal, this terminal comes in, I could press Shift Control Plus and makes it bigger, and then I could just say cat -n etc os-release, and it shows that this is Ubuntu Debian, and then the name of the code is Victoria, or the flavor is Victoria Linux Mint Cinnamons. So that is what this version is here. You can also just use this handle to resize it or whatever you want. You can run the clear screen command here, id-un, echo $shell, like we did over there, and say PS, I'm sorry, an uppercase. So Linux is case sensitive. On the terminals, when I say echo $shell, that is defined, but $lowercase is not pointing to anything. So, and be careful whenever you're running commands on Linux, as case sensitivity is important. Right now, I'm on the desktop directory. So if I say echo $PS1, that from shell 1 is telling me that /u is right here, /u is the same equivalent ID-un. That is Wahid. That is why this Wahid comes in here. /h is the host name, is equivalent to typing in the host name. And then right here is showing Wahid. And then this @ is the @, and then Wahid at VirtualBox is the same thing. And then $W, in this case is somewhere here, should be $W right here. That's the home directory of where the person is. So in this case, I'm on the tilde home directory, and echo $home is showing that home Wahid. But tilde is equivalent to that one. So if I say cd to tilde, it's going to take me to the home directory. Or if I say cd by itself, it's going to take me the same place. If I say cd to desktop, now I'm chained to the desktop here. So that from shell 1 is set to that. And if I just want to change that one, I gotta type in export. Since I'm on bash, notice this is bash. So if I say echo $, that is pointing to the bash here. If I just go to a kernel shell, if kernel shell is not there, then it's gonna say, go ahead and install it. And then in order to install it, they say sudo apt application package toolkit install mksh. So then now it is going to be installed. And then if I clear this, we say which kernel shell, and now kernel shell is there. And then if I say kernel shell, now it's changing my prompt and there. PS1, now notice that this is the shell that I'm doing. Echo $, it is going to show that from shell 1 is pointing to the, the kernel shell is pointing to this one. So if I just do sh to get into born shell, then I say ps, notice that is now the shell is there. So echo $, is pointing to the ED5, the one that is pointing to sh. And then at the same time here, if I say export, x is equal 1, and then say echo $x, you can see that the export worked there. At the same time, if I say set env, name is equal name Wahid, this is not a C shell. So in order for that to work, I have to say export name is equal Wahid, because I'm on a born shell. So echo $name is going to return success. Now, if I say go to C shell, and then C shell is not there, through C shell is not there, so I go to say sudo apt install through C shell. This is a new machine, so I'm just going to show you as a person that you're using these one, you have to make sure that the shell is available here, which through C shell is there now. So notice the last shell I used sh. If I type in C shell now, I might change prompt shell one changed PS1. It is just showing that prompt shell one is undefined, but clear the screen here. Set env, I'm sorry, env. If you do env, you get all the environment variables there. So if you say env and grep minus IPS for prompt shell one or something, so and it might be called prompt or something. Whatever is on the shell, through C shell, and they don't use PS1 here. env 5 more. So you could see, you could also look for the value of it, the one that we have defined it, but those ones sometimes translate here. VirtualBox host and then group and then. So let's just create another variable. We just are using C shell here. And I'm gonna say set env name Wahid here. Now equal $name is defined here, Wahid. So if I just say and set env name, then now I do echo is not gonna be defined there because we did not define it. Let's go to through C shell, and through C shell now if I just say and set env. All of these variables are there. Env is there. Set is also showing the local variables. Env and set env usually returns the global variables as well as the a global variable. The set is showing the local in addition to the global variable. So set when you do something, you set a variable, you have to do unset. So here you notice that I'm on the through C shell. So echo $sign is pointing to the through C shell process ID. If I exit out of that one and now I say echo, it should be pointing to PS. It's gonna be showing the C shell, and then echo $sign is gonna show the C shell. Similarly, I exit out of that one. Now I'm on the Bourne shell sh, which echo $sign will show the 85 number at the end, the last 2 digits. So exit out of this one, clear the screen, PS. Now I'm back on corn shell. Echo and $sign is corn shell process ID, and then exit. Now I'm back on the main process ID bash, and echo $sign. It is there. So notice that here I could say export a name as echo, and then I could say Wahidullah Lutfi, and then I could just say echo $name. It's gonna point that one. You could also use this combination of this. Sometimes if you want to just put a directory structure or something, you want to put it those left braces, right braces around the variable name in order to separate the second line that you put it. Otherwise, you if you put it a dot, the name, or the slash that name, it's not going to understand it. So it's a syntax error otherwise. So in this case, if I just say echo hello, comma $name, you can see here, I'm just getting it, hello, Wahidullah Lutfi, right? If I just change that one to and say, let's do this one, I'm gonna just say echo, and just, if I wanna just take the second field of it, I could say echo $name, and I'm gonna put this one in another kind of subshell. So I'm gonna say echo this one, and then let's say I just want to get only the first name, Wahidullah. And then I say awk, and then print $1. So that would print that one, and if you see some typo that happened, let me just correct it. That's why I say interactive. Whenever you do it, you have to be extra cautious to say what you're doing here. Echo this one $name. So and this has to be onto let's see if this is the name. So what you could do is here delete this line first, and then just run this command by itself to see if you get the output. Yes, I don't get the output, and the reason I don't get it saying echo $name. If I just print $1, let's get it first here. Yeah, this one, that's why I just did not close it correctly. Sorry, let me clear the screen here. So this is what I wanted to do here and say Wahidullah, but Wahidullah does not mean anything here. And then I say send this one to this like this, and then echo Wahidullah. So echo $name will give you this, and then you say awk, and then print $1. This would just return Wahidullah, and $2 would say Lutfi. And then I want to just do this. Let me clear the screen first. And now I'm going to do this, and then at the same time, what I wanted to do is with a $, I could have done the same thing with using the subshell, but there's no need to. Actually, this is much easier and shorter form of it. And then echo $name, because no $name had it. But then if you want to append to this one, say hello, comma, and then this, and then it's going to say hello. And then right here is the part that maybe we could just now expand it. And then hello Wahidullah Lutfi. So this one actually wrote the entire echo statement, and we could do this one to $, and then right here the bracket. Echo hello name. Let me see why it is not seeing it. I'm gonna try this one with the backtick here and backtick here, and then echo hello and name. Okay, on this example that I was demonstrating, I have to do an echo. Let's see, echo $name first. And since $name has two fields, when I did echo hello name, pipe this one hello and then a name, the first field is hello in this case. So $1 was pointing only to hello. But if I want to get a Wahidullah, then I need to do this command, comma, $2. So that way it would say hello Wahidullah. And if I wanted to get $3 also, then I could say hello Wahidullah Lutfi. That would return it. But depending on what you're doing is so the awk and knock and gawk and grep and all those set and everything is very useful commands that you can do here. So in this case, that's what I wanted to do in the first place, and you could just get that information from here. In addition, for example, let's just look at the etc host file, for example. If you look at the etc host file on this one, if I'm looking for this virtual box here, I could do a grep just for virtual box, grep -I virtual. That's good enough for etc host. then it's gonna look for the virtual box here. And if I just wanna get the only that portion of it, now notice here that I could use the shell bash command, and then I could say awk and then say print $2, and then the Wahid virtual box will be printed here. And then if I just want to get only the portion from Wahid, cut minus D delimiter dash, and then I could just say minus F1. So now Wahid is there. If I want to get field 2, then the virtual box will be displayed here. And then you can do a lot of these stuff from the command line. I'm just showing you a few of them, but this is what we are going to do with the presentation first. And so I did a little bit demo on this presentation. Let's go to the Ubuntu distribution, and we are going to do some more on the Ubuntu distribution here. Because I have a lot of the script that I already built it on my website, MyWebUniversity.com, and I have those ones available for you. I've already secure shell to the web server also, and I'm going to show you a number of things. Here, if you just don't have a terminal open yet, you can right click here and say open in terminal. This terminal will open, and then you get this default nice interface that I configure it that way to just have this one. The way you do these terminals, you notice that you have this tab. You can just open as many as you want, and then you can close them back by clicking this X and then undo that. So if I close the last one here, it will be done. And the right click here, open terminal, it will just open a nice terminal here. And if I just type in exit here, it will close it for me. But if I just want to open a terminal here and then say, okay, this is nice. How about changing the background daemons or making it transparent? You can right click here on the terminal, look at preferences, and then click on the colors. And then just here, let's say if we want to just make it transparent, you can just see the thing. But sometimes depending on the colors that you choose, like white does not go nice on green, I mean on the yellow or something. So you just need to right click here and then just set the transparency back to whatever you want. And since I set this background here, that background is there. The foreground is white. If I wanted the transparency, that means that I have to change the white color to some other text there. But these are something that you can just always configure it based on your preferences. I'm just showing you some of the easy features that are here, and then you can just configure it based on your need. And then once you open the terminal, you can also size it here to make it smaller or bigger. And also you could do Control-Shift+ to increase the font. So if you want the font to be bigger, you can do that one. If you just close it, you just open a new terminal here, it is going to just, a new terminal is going to just show this. So I'm going to just increase it a little bit to make to be pleasant for your eyes. So Control-Shift+, I think this is good enough, the size, and I'm going to just a few years ago, I made a video back when Linux and resolution and Zoom and other tools that I had was very minimal with the hardware, and then unfortunately the resolution was not good. So please, if it bothers you on your eyes, please watch my newer videos. They have better resolution. Sorry about that one. But some of them are sometimes like you're running the pop command. You don't need to be sitting in front of a nicer interface unless you're just trying to understand all the details here. But if I say the load average is 0.27, that number changes dynamically. So as long as it's low load average, you are looking at the monitor with these status. Similarly, if I say CPU is usage is 0.s or in the system or nice or idle or wait, all of this information that with the process ID, these numbers changes the user that they come in on the process ID, come in priority, nice, virtual, residential portion of memory, shared portion, CPU, sleep time or runtime or status, whether it's idle or runtime, all of that one, and memory. All of this information keep changing, so it is dynamic. The data that you're reading, you don't have to pay attention, is the wording that you're looking at those stats. Like uptime, for example, it's a load average there also. Or some command like go to the proc file system and say cat mem info pipe more. So you can see that the system memory is about 8 gig total on this virtual machine, and you can also get it from your virtual box by going here on the virtual box under the setting. You can see it's 8 gig here. With 4 processor, it shows here 4 processor. So if I just go here and say proc / CPU info, 5 more, you can see that is the processors are 0 through 3 on the 4 processor. And this is processor number 2, and this is number 3, and that's all the processors that are on there. Or you could say CPU, ls CPU, and the command that there. Or host name, CTL, host name itself. All of these commands that are there, netstack minus rn. A lot of the commands that you do here, print working directory, uname -a, uname -r for revision or and the build for kernel, uname -s for system name, uname -o for operating system version, uname -v for the symmetric multiprocessing name there. So uname -m for machine type, uname -p for platform, uname -kernel name. If you want to do the longer name, you could do uname -help. Will give you all the uname stuff there. So man uname also give you the details of man information, and then you could say info uname. You could get information on it and details of it, but man -k uname any keyword that matches the uname. Man -s1 printf will give you the printf statement section 1, and then if you don't do a section 1, you do section 3. This would be the include the standard IO stuff that I made PDF files for it. But before I forget, let me just show you the PDF files that I created on the web here. Under MyWebUniversity.com, which is a secure page, I created this website about 2020, about 23 years ago, in order for me to teach my computer science courses and everything online for free to anybody that is willing to read it and understand it and memorize it and help the community. And it is all available online for free. So you're welcome to watch these videos on YouTube, as well as go to my book, which is online available on the internet. It is called The Direct Path to Linux Ubuntu. It has about 10 chapters altogether. Chapter 2 is the basic Unix and Linux commands. So if you go to that one, basically you will see about 33 commands that I just showed you some of them. You're welcome to practice each one of them. So if you just click on the calendar command here, I'm just demonstrating the commands here with examples. There's a what is section for each command that says what is the calendar command do. So if I make this screen a little bit bigger, and then I just show you what is the calendar command. It says display the calendar command, and it does show examples that you can click on it as if you're sitting in front of a Windows machine and just get the output here on my Linux cloud computing. The cal command is the one that you click, and today is September 22nd, and it shows that as the date. If you want to say calendar 9031, then it's going to just return you the calendar of 9031. Whatever command that you just type in or click on it, it will just give you the output. And if you want to man pages for it on the calendar command, I also produce you the output here on my Linux cloud server. That is on my web server. The server I'm logged on here on this bitwise operation or here already. So if I just open another terminal here, this is the terminal that is connected. So in here, there's a file .csh or clear screen PS. So I'm on bash. There's a file .bash or c.bash runtime control. So if I say more.bash or c, this will just set up all my environment variable with history and export all the terms for the website. So I want to just do that one first. If I just clear the screen here, and then I say .bash or c. Now I run it. Notice that my prompt changed from that. If I say host name, it's going to show www.mywebuniversity.com, uname -a. It shows that it's on MyWebUniversity, cat -e, tc OS-release is Ubuntu 20.04, long-term support, and much more. So I need a quick break, a water break. Sorry for a second. As you can see, the Linux Ubuntu. So if I say cat -n etc OS-release here, you could see that the version is Linux Ubuntu. But let's go on the web server, and then we see the data output from the cat command here, cat here. And then one of the example I might be showing -n etc host number 2. So if you click on this one, you're going to get the same output that you're getting on the screen on the display here. So notice that here it says Ubuntu 20.04 and then 12 lines, and then here it is 12 lines, everything Linux Ubuntu. So all this information is the same as you're inside the server. So how did I make this one? Through programming, through Linux command.cgi, which is kind of a combination of Python program as well as some shell scripting and all the manual pages and then the commands, everything all together. I put it together to just help you out, and so you can practice it online. And this is for chapter 2. All of these commands are available. And also I have these videos for chapter 2. For each of those session, I have a video that you can watch and then learn chapter 2. This book I dedicated to my beloved brother, late brother, Dr. Haman Lutfi, rest in peace. In 2021, he's no longer with us. He was the angel of our life. Basically helped me through college, through my life, through career. I was, helped by him so much that I just kind of like owe him to my heart, and everything that he did for us, for all of us, not just myself, for everybody around the family, around the friends, loved ones, works related, community. And he was a cardiologist at Kaiser for a long time. God bless him. Rest in peace. So I'm covering chapter 2 here. I'm going to go to chapter 3, for example, here, and show you similar stuff that I covered. Please watch these videos that are for chapter 3 are all here. And then I'm covering all of these ones in details. And then each one of these commands, you could see it. For example, if you were running the df command here, you could see that the df-h for human readable, it will tell you that the output is right here, df-h. And then if I just show you on the actual server, clearing the screen, df-h, you could see all of that information here. the same. So it is good for you that you can practice it online and do whatever you want to do, like df-hf extended 4 file system. If you could see this one, notice this command is a little bit shorter, right? So if I just type in the same command here, clearing my screen here, df-hf extended 4, you could see the same output here, similar to the output above here. Okay, so let me just make this one above here, and you can see that it matches exactly the same one. The user partition is 16%, board partition 59%, and home is 45%. So you're welcome to practice these ones online and then learn it and understand it. And if you need manual pages or understand what the command is about, I have the usage for it, and it tells you what it is. And you can also click on df-h command here, and you could just read it, the entire things online here. Df provide you the output here. And notice that this one, and because I'm going to make the screen a little bit smaller, you can see here that you have the scroll bar that you can go up and down, so you can read everything about this one. And then the see also section is going to help you further educate yourself by learning more commands. So here, for you just type in, say, what about the system CTL? Then you could just get it a system CTL output here. So any command that you do, for example, let's say the CPIO, copy input output. If the command is available, then you will get the manual pages for it. And then let's say GCC for GNU C collection compiler, and you will get the output here. So the whole resource are there for you. In addition, I made this one also for Python, for everything. For I wrote actually a Python program that translated all of this one, converted everything to let me show you that to PDF file. So if I say all underscore PDF, this is the PDF version of all those manual pages for Red Hat Enterprise, about 12,747 files. For Linux Rocky version, about 11,492. All together for Windows and Linux and Rocky and Ubuntu and Red Hat, as well as PowerShell, is about 32,000, over 32,000 files are generated with this there. And I put that video on the MyWebUniversity main page here, that you're welcome to watch it. And then I already demonstrate that one, but the reason I'm showing you now here, that if you're on Red Hat platform and you want to get a documentation on Red Hat, here's your friend. All the 12,000 files, or section by section, I formatted for you in manual pages in PDF format. This is not on Google. This is not on other search engine yet. Google is going to index it, and it's going to help you find it. But it is in one place here at mywebuniversity.com/all_PDF. You just come and visit and then bookmark this section. The entire manual pages are here. So let's say you're looking for the uname command here, uname.1 here, PDF. You click on it, and I just show you the uname command on a PDF format. Similarly, if you're looking for GCC, for example, GCC, and right here, GCC 1.pdf, then you can see that this one is a little bit more. So if it is 678 pages, but notice how fast it is for you to just be able to access 687 pages of 678 pages of PDF files for GCC compiler. Similarly for Python, if you're looking at For it, do Control F here, search for Python. If you're looking for Python 3, just search for Python 3. This would be that one. And then this might be like 12 of them, 12 pages, yeah, 12 pages. So all of this documentation, I wrote it for a purpose to just help you out. And then notice I gave credit to Python, Red Hat, the operating system, and then free PDF writer, which is the module that I used, and MyWebUniversity, which is my main website that I built the whole thing here. But just doing this one, I'm going to show you how I built this a nice interface. So you can see I use shell scripting for the actual PDF files to be indexed here. So you can come in a nice table and you can see it by sections. So each section, for example, this is section 4 of it. As you go here and everything section 5 is here, you can just click on it and just look at the PDF file for that purpose. And if you're just saying, well, section 5, let's see, it is section 5 here. Section 4 prior to that one or after that one. If any section and section 1 through 9, anything is available, then that 12,000 files are here. So section 5 is also long. Section 7, this is like some of the commands on section 7. You can see that it's there, and you're welcome to access them. So if I go back to this one, I did the same thing with Rocky Linux. And then notice Rocky Linux is here. So each one of them, you click on it, you get a PDF file, but then this time I gave, instead of Red Hat, I gave Rocky Linux operating system manual pages credit for. And then I did Python, PDF, and MyWebUniversity. All of those ones get credit for this PDF file that I wrote the Python program myself, and then use those modules and those tools to just generate this nice stuff for you. Let's say I'm going to go to Linux Ubuntu, for example. The Linux Ubuntu, about close to 7,000. All of these are there. And if you're looking for, like, let's say Docker here, Docker Swarm, and then anything that is available for you, you will get the PDF for it. So just for example, if you look for apt for Ubuntu, there's apt install, apt get. So notice it's 23 of them. So for example, apt file and apt dash install, apt get. All of those aptitude is another command that is similar, and then a lot of them are here. If you're looking for, like, let's say apt cache, and then cap cache is there. And so a lot of these tools that are available, apt get, apt cache, apt install, all of them are just PDF file for sources.list and so on. And then at the same time, what about snap on this one, snap? And so you can see snap 1 of 2, and then you can see the snap env, and then the previous one was snap this, and then you could get that same snap, and then control F, snap. And then if you look for like a Rocky version, I did not show you much on Rocky. So in Rocky, let's say you're looking for yum, control F, and then yum as for a yellow dog update manager. There's 1 of 3, so you could see the yum core, and the one that I've been looking at is yum.8, and this is yum yellow dog update manager, and you can see all yum install, yum repo list, all those ones. And now yum is pointing to DNF, so the new version is the DNF. But notice this one is about 48 pages. Let's look at DNF. DNF here. So for the portability, a lot of these commands, when you're doing package managers on CentOS, Rocky, and Red Hat, make sure that you're using the right package manager, which is either DNF or YUM or RPM, Red Hat Package Manager, and opposed to Ubuntu or Debian distribution, which is using apt or snap. So that is important. dnf.conf.5d, and there's a number of them you have to search for. dnf.1, I believe it is for DNF. Control F, DNF. Let me see, there are 16 of them. So let me just say .1 if it detects DNF. .conf is there, and the DNF transport, and there's a number of them here. DNF.8, that's a sysadmin, so that's why DNF is under the same categories as YUM or system admin, and DNF8 is section admin command. And then here you have all the options here: history list and repo list and everything else, 48 pages. So at the same time, DNF3 is DNF-3 is also the Python script for it, and that is used for DNF and YUM to be symbolic linked to DNF-3. So here I'm going to search for, let's say on Linux, Rocky, I'm going to search for RPM, Red Hat Package Manager. And you can see one of 8, so you can search for that one. RPM.8 is the one that I'm interested here, the Red Hat Package Manager, and then you can see that this is also the Rocky Enterprise RPM, Red Hat Package Manager, right? And then all those commands are available for you when you're on the CentOS QA for query all, QL for listing all, QI for information, and so on. So you can see the list is well on and on, 19 pages. So let me just go back here, and then I will show you how I generated this PDF files, all underscore PDF files, this page for you here. And then how I generated for all of them here using a shell scripting. So that's a web programming part of the presentation that I'm doing tonight. So let's get back here and then just say, I'm going to cd clear screen pwd. Post name is MyWebUniversity.com. I'm going to go to a directory where I have this script on wlibc programs, and then shells and cd to var tab. So when you're on the command line, you can tab it to complete something, so you don't have to do anything $. Notice all these scripts that I wrote has $. here, and the latest one might be just something that if I do ls minus ltr, you could see that I'm doing backup there also sh. So the latest is my backup. I'm going to also show you the backup, how to back up your system. And so Rocky 92 man PDF table. So this is man PDF tables might be the one that I just showed you there. So if I do vim man underscore PDF underscore tables, this is the page that we just demonstrated there. And then man underscore PDF. Let's see, PD. Let me just do it again, see what it is. Let's minus LD man store. Okay. And then VI improve man underscore PDF underscore tables. And so the one that I'm doing it is on the September 15 $, that one. Sorry. Then man underscore PDF underscore tables.sh. This time should find it. What is it? Oh, permission denied. You see, when you're not root, the permissions of these directories, I blocked it, so I could not do it with a regular user because I want to make sure that I understand it. So ID -UN is going to show Lutfi. I'm going to just log in as root to modify that one. Since I provided the dash saying that change my shell also, now I'm on that different directory. So I have to go back to that directory of above here, which I'm going to cut and paste it faster. And then here, I'm going to do a vim man underscore pdf underscore tables.sh. So lowercase sh, and that one is going to open it. And as you can see, this shebang user ben env is going to find the interpreter that I was telling you. So this one, it says load the bash interpreter using the binary env. So if I do exclamation mark here, say which env, this shebang is saying that run the command from the vim and just run the env and give me output. So notice that it says user ben env. So the first line where I have as user ben env, the binary is there. And if I say what type of file it is, file user ben env, it's going to tell me that it's an executable link format 64-bit env. And similarly, if I say shebang which bash, is going to show that bin bash. So the bin bash is going to be loaded. And instead of doing so many things, this is what is nice about Bedwise. You can just open another terminal here and then just do this command here, a separate command. And then you can also change the coloring of this one. So if I just want to change the coloring of this one, I could go on the setting here. Actually, I have to do it on the new terminal. And before I open it here, I have to go on the default color here and then change this color here. Let's say I want to just say, make it blue. That is blue is there. So I'm going to change blue. I'm going to make it dark green. So let's make it 15 here for dark green. Once I do that one and I press enter, and then I open the next terminal, this next terminal, now it's going to be green. So I want to distinguish that one from my Vim stuff here, but notice here I'm not set up for the environment, so I could do sudo sudash. I could become root again. I don't need to actually run the bash script here. I could do export ps1 is equal just a pound sign, so it doesn't show anything but the pound sign. Now clear screen here. I did the echo ps1. I set it to pound, and that's what I get there. So if I say host name here, host name here, it shows id-un. It shows that I'm root. Host name is MyWebUniversity.com. At this time, if I just say which env, you can see which env you can see as a user ben env. That is pointing to the shebang here there. File user ben env, it tells me that it is executable link format. Similarly, if I say which bash, file user ben bash, it is telling me that bash is user bin bash. Actually, the path I did which bash file / bin bash, not user bin bash, because bin bash is that's what the interpreter is, and then it's an executable link format. You can see that one. You can also get the command say type a bin bash to see the type of it. It says there's a bash itself, type of it. And then here I'm going to clear screen. You can also get commands, for example, for the bash lvd / bin bash all the shared objects that are loaded, and there's a lot, tons of sysadmin stuff that you could do, and you could get information. But at this time, I want to show you shell scripting. So the first line was showing you env and bash is loaded. The next line that is there is comment. You can have one line comment. You can also have the double greater sign, and then some document, and then end with a document. You can have multi-line comments also there. And the syntax here for the dir, and just declaring a variable directory that points to this path, and then the directory of HTML pointing to where all of that information I set it, and then I reuse that directory, create the index.html here. And now a cat header file, whatever I want to put on the HTML, I'm just using shell scripting to create a HTML file called index.html, and then I do this one information. And now I say count is equal 0 for I, the environment variable I, and 1 to 9, because I have 9 sections for each of the files. I go through a loop and then traverse through the directory and structure for all the PDF files, and I look for the PDF file, and then I create a table, a nice table here with dev section here, that's HTML and dev section, so it is centered and everything, and then put a table row and table header inside with all the information, and then a Linux Ubuntu 22 point long-term support, all of that information is posted here. And then at the same time, I look for find directory store.dir, which is on this directory where man PDF is, the dir. I'm going to look for any file that has the extension .pdf. And then it has the interface, the section number, and $I. Notice this variable, I'm just getting from I1 to 9. So this is very important for you to do section by section, and then go to a while read PDF, put it into this variable, then I just parse it to the do, and then I just get the base name from that PDF file, and then sort it and everything, and then going down here, then I check on the count, so I want to put 2 rows per table, each columns has 2 rows entries, and then as I enter it, and then if it is a PDF, I want to just put the word PDF in a red color, and then I just put the name of the manual pages, whatever it was. I would put that one with putting double greater sign index file, because I don't want to override the index.html. I just want to append it on each of these for statement with an echo based on the table that the entry that it is. So it's very, very efficient coding, and it works 100% good. And then at the end, I just want to close the table, and then everything, and this information is generated here. So the way you run a shell scripting here, you basically just say, and instead of them, you just say dot slash, and then man_pdf, and then the file will be generated properly. Since not that many people are using it, I could override it with a very fast way to just do it. I'm the only one that's using it at this time. And it's going to be overwritten with a new updated information. So when this is done, basically on that directory structure, I will have a file cd2. Just go right now. It is done here, and then I could also go to that directory using this one. Since I'm on this other one, I could say var www.html, and then say all underscore PDF, and then look for this one, and then this is the all underscore PDF documents, and then the one that I did for tables, man, this one, and let me just go man underscore PDF underscore tables. So I'm gonna go back to the directory where I started this script, which is right here. And then reading the first section of it, you could say head -10, and then this file name. Just reading the 10 lines first to see. Var man underscore PDF document. This is where the file is getting updated, the index.html. And I believe I was on that directory. Man underscore, not all, man underscore PDF. So if I go the same directory, var.html and man underscore PDF, this file got updated. All those PDF files are there, but I just let me just do this. Ls minus lb star index.html. So you can see today's date is 22, and then just at the time that I did it was 22/10/22, and then that file was updated. Instead of index.html will also reveal that the last modification was done at that time. Similarly, if I want to just do it for Windows, let's say go to clear screen. Let me show you a shorter directory for let's say Windows help 11 pages here. So notice this one, I just generate the PDF file as well as, but it is on Windows 11 help stuff. And then the path to this one is user Windows 11 underscore help PDF. And then I also have for each one of these ones audio files that you can listen to it, and you just click on it and you watch it.
Compares the contents of two files or sets of files.
I'm going to stop it here. So I'm going to show you this nice table here that I generated for these commands here. You can see that shell scripting was done on this one also. And then this one is about 8 commands with some audios and some PDF files all together. So just going back here on the directory, let's use this terminal and then demonstrate that one here. So I'm going to go cd to var.html and then no, actually. So I'm going to just go here, and then at this time I'm going to do whatever's with Windows 11. So if I just say okay, ls minus ltr.sh, there's a lot of files with names there, but you have to give the name of the script something related to the topic that you're doing, so it's easier identified by other people to do it. If you're the only one, you can always do a grep on whatever you want. So you could say grep minus I Windows, for example, star.sh, and then you can see the name of the scripts that it comes out with Windows 11. You could see that, okay, that is there. Or you could just say ls minus ltr when star. This is just saying that, okay, the name of the script is start with that one. So then when star.table1.sh help PDF, and it is going to show you that this file generate the file where the directory I showed you there, Windows 11, and then if I delete the file, it will just recreate it. If I just run it, since it's faster, it's only 88 command, it will be just a few seconds. And then this one also read these other HTML header files, and then it looks at the PDF file. It does a find on all the files on the directory structure where the PDF files are, which is dir here. So it does a find command here, and I will show you a find command syntax after this, and then telling you how to look for things here. So at this time, let's just run the script here, and then see the output as it is there. So if I go back here, and then notice that for temporary, I'm gonna go back onto that directory where the web server is. Here, this one, I leave this screen here, and then, yeah, I leave this screen here, and then this other one, I go to Windows _11, and then I'm gonna just go to help _PDF, and then I'm gonna just temporarily move the index.html to a new file. I could just, instead of moving it, I could just copy it. So I could show you that the website of production is not being cached, because you don't want to just override it with another file or something. You could just copy it as a new name and then practice it that way. Index.html. So I'm going to say copy index.html as new.html. So this new.html and index.html are exactly the same size. But notice one of them is owned by root, which I created as this, and the other one is the data. So I'm going to change the ownership of data colon data for new.html to also have the right permission. Now I just changed the owner and the group name with the syntax of change on command, and now a new one is .html is there. So on this directory, if I just go here, and instead of the default index.html, if I say new HTML, you will see that the same page shows up without any problem. If you go on the configuration files, because it's the same, it is going to work for it. Same thing that you did there. However, if I want to just override it with this other one, the index.html, I'm going to run this script here on this window, and then here I have when, and then I tab it. This is the name of the script. I'm going to run it. Notice this one was fast. Right away it did it, and then if I just do this one a few seconds, notice it's less than a couple of seconds. So echo $question mark, it says return successful. That 0 means it's return successful. So if I just go back here and say ls-ld ls-l, notice that index.html got modified. And then the timestamp of that one changed from September 10 to September 22nd, but the new .html is older than that file. Even though the timestamp of it is different, the size of the file are exactly the same. So if I do a diff between index.html and new.html, there's no difference. Echo $question mark meaning 0, meaning successful, and there's no difference. So you could see that one. Let's just do a vim new.html, and then I just add one line here, say header head 1, and say this is header 1, just to show you the difference with the section. So now we are doing manual HTML code, but for the shell scripting, I'm showing you how to write shell script to even do the Google banners, everything on the fly with a few commands. So this is giving you source of my source code on the shell part, just to help you out. Just please make sure that you return the favor and share my videos and channel and subscribe, and that way it is also beneficial to me as well. And thanks for doing so. So here I'm doing the new.html. Notice if I just go on the website and then just look at the new.html here, new.html, there's some portion of it says that this is something right where I put it on the header. It does not show over here for whatever reason it is, but we could do a difference between the two. here the diff command, and you will see the difference. It shows that this one line was added there. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the new .html. I don't need to keep a copy of the same file with different lines, but it was just a demo purpose. And so earlier I mentioned that I'm going to show you how to do find command. So let's go back to the Linux Ubuntu here on the local machine here. So Linux Ubuntu, you can see I'm going to demo a lot of stuff here for you. I want to make sure that we can stay with the time correctly, so I can cover as much as possible, humanly possible, not get too tired. Today is my regular day off, and I'm using it to help you out. And hopefully you will just benefit it and help the society as well, and help somebody around you that might need your help. So let's get back to this directory, clear screen, PWD. I'm going to go to programs. I'm going to go to shells and then clear screen, PWD. I'm on this directory. So if I just want to know what are my .bash script, if there's any files that are on the bash, I could simply do a list -l start.bash. It will just list that one, or start.csh, and it's, if there's anything .sh, it will list them. So since all of them are extension .sh, it will do it, and then if it's the .bash, it will just show one, but not .c shell. But if I just say, well, what are subdirectories, then I can use a find command, say from the current directory -name star .sh star, and then this would just show all the files that start with something and then followed by .sh followed by anything. So if this one .c shell is there, it will not find it because it only find the .sh star. So look at those ones, and it is listing all of the one. I'm going to say C shell only to show the C shell. And then this one, I'm going to just say, go ahead and search for everything here. And then notice that it's a lot here. So if you say word count -l, there's 7,138 files. But if I say show me only -type directories, then it's going to be 368 files. So if I say type is directory, listed there. And if I say type is regular file, listed regular file. But then let's do a find with -type f regular file, and then the name is start with the extension .bash. So now you can see that it is there are a lot of them here. But what about if I just want to see like if I just use the while statement? So if I just say show me this with -exec and then grep -il, and look for until statement, for example, or while statement, or if statement, or for statement, you could say that, okay, show me that one there, and then this braces. So this syntax is saying that look for find command with the name anything .extension of bash, and it's a regular file, it's not a directory, and then run the exact command to grep out with -i, ignore the case, give a long listing of the file for the words matching the until string, and then this is like a loop, start of the loop, end of the loop. This is new line character and a semicolon. You can also substitute that new line character with a plus. So this is going to just show there's one file called until demo. Notice I told you that you can also replace that one with this, it will return the same thing. But if you say, well, it's nice to have this one there, can I just do more command on it? Can I just say while read var and then say do? This is kind of interactive shell scripting. When I say be careful on it, if you're on a demo and you know what you're doing, you don't need to worry about it. But if you're in a production, you have to watch for whatever you type in and make sure to double check on it, please. And then here we say echo $var and then done. So now it's going to show the same thing. Since I'm doing interactive, I could use up arrow here, and instead of echo, I could say have this file name. Since it's on loop demos, loop stands for learn Unix by example. That's the directory I created for manual pages when I did those chapter 2, 3, 4. And I did not show you the rest of the chapters on MyWebUniversity.com, but basically, if I go back here on Windows, and then you're welcome to look at chapter 3 that I showed you already. Chapter 2 I already showed you. Chapter 4 is the advanced level. So for chapter 4, there's 88 commands here. Each row has a list of commands that you can practice. And all of them you can just, for example, if you want to learn LSOF, and then you read it here. And then I give you examples here. For example, look at -I for port 80, you click on it, and then you get the output. Obviously, I'm not running it on our server, and then you can also get the manual pages for it. But if I show you the syntax on the command line, you could just say clear screen LSOF -I colon 80, port 80, that would give you port 80. And then similarly for 443, or similarly for -I for 22 for SSH, and then so on. You could get all of these details from the list of the manual pages. So coming back to the MyWebUniversity.com, and then looking at the other ones. So for each of these rows, I have a video here. Video 1 through video 8. So 8 rows, 8 videos. And this is Learn OS Advanced Level Chapter 4, Part 8 of 8. And that's Part 8 of 8 is this row. So Part 1 would be Chapter 1 and Chapter 1 row, the first row. User add to all the way to there. And then you could also read these ones there and then watch the videos as well as read the documentation. And chapter 5 of my direct book to Linux Ubuntu teaches you shell scripting. So you're welcome to look at the shell scripting, whether C shell or bash. And here I show you the actual script, as well as you can run them. You can display them on command line, then you can cut and paste it and copy it into shell, terminal, and then practice it and memorize it and test it on a terminal, as well as run it. So for example, if argument.sh 10, it's gonna run the script and it's gonna say 10 is equal to 10. And then the two variables are defined here. And if you look at the syntax of that script, I wrote that one for the purpose of comparing two variables, getting from input $1 and $2. If you don't specify the output, it's going to give you a usage. Otherwise, it's going to compare it. And it's going to give you the output based on that. And then similarly with other ones, so if this number is less than 200, it will just tell you 100 is smaller than 200, and because of the comparison there. But at the same time, I have the scripts on the directory. I'm going to show you how you could do it also here on Ubuntu. So here, for example, this one was showing that. So if I just say cat var, you can see that it is displaying the variable. And if I just say 5 more, so one screen at a time, it will just show the until loop, and it just says that, okay, until this $sign num is not equal to 0, which initially is false. So it is going to get into the loop, and then At some point when the user inputs 0 because it wants to exit, then it becomes true, and then it ends the until loop, and opposed to the for loop here. The for loop is the while loop. The while loop is going to loop if the condition is true, and once the condition becomes false, it exits out of the loop. So let's look at the for loop. And you can also do this one instead of doing this. You can also say, for example, while you know that this is the bash script, you could just say, well, the name starts with something with until. So you could say until start dot bash. You don't have to put dot bash. If there's more than one, you will know it there. Since it's that, you could just say, instead of grep minus RHEL here, you could say cat minus n and then the name of the file. Now it shows all the 55 lines. And similarly, you could do here pipe more, and then pipe more would be outside of the cat command here. So pipe more, and then it will just stop us being a time. So you could do that one. And then similarly, if you just are on this directory programs, if you're looking find dot minus name star dot C++, and then look at all the .C++, and if you say look for minus exact, ls minus ld, $, and then plus, this will just list them all of them here. And if you just say there's a while demo, let's look at this one. You could say while, so it will just list all the while script that has, and the while started here. And if you just want to say, well, get the stat on each one of them, stat on the commands, you will get the stat on. Or just say while demo here, let's just look at one of them, say while demo one. While demo one, and this is there's two of them for demo one. So I'm going to say where the extension is also C++. So you could say grep C++, and that would give you that. And then now, since I parse it that way, I could just say, okay, I'm going to be interested on this name. Then I could parse it here, interactive programming. You say awk print $9. $9 would return you the name of it. And then you could say while read var and do, and then say echo working on $var now, and then say ls minus ld $var stat $var, and then done. So now we say working on that one, as you can see on now the name, and then we get the ls minus ld, and then that statistic on there. So if you just decided to say, instead of the stat, let's just cat the file, cat minus n $var, and then you could get that output as well, like this. And then you could just get information here. So first this says working on wherever it was there, working on I just said without the G, so you could type in clear screen, interactive programming. You could just say change the working on, and then you could just see that one. And then now it is showing working on. And then if you just say, well, it is nice, but I want to have some echo statement and timestamp. So let's not do a cat command. We want to just do another command and say ls minus ld $var, and then I'm going to say date, and then sleep 5 seconds, and then run another date command. So I just want to run these commands. Notice that they're showing the file name first, and then it says a date and the timestamp. Then we wait 5 seconds, and then sleep 5 seconds, and then run the date command again. Notice it's waiting 5 seconds. Now we're gonna get 5 seconds later. You see 58 becomes 03 because 2 plus 3 is 5. And then that would just show the new time. So there's a lot of things with interactivity you could do here. For example, on the web server here, if I'm just on an admin and I say, well, my web server is hanging HTTP here, and let's say ps minus ef direct minus I Apache. So Apache is running, and I just want to get the process ID of these Apache, and there's hundreds or thousands of processes that I want to kill them all. You can also use pkill or Apache or kill all command, but usually that is not as intuitive that you could identify the culprit process and just kill the one that you wanted and do it. So if I just interested on the Apache, in this case, I could say grep minus b grep, so I don't kill my own grep command. This is the list, and now the second process ID is the main process ID of this process. So if I say awk and then print $2, now I have the process ID of those one that I want to do. And if I just want to do something, I could say while read var do interactive vehicle working on $var, and now, and then say I'm not going to do the kill, so I'm going to put a pound kill -9 $var, and then say done. So notice it says working on it. The pound command did not allow it to do the echo. So if I just do the same command with print $2, same process IDs are still there because I did not kill it. I just say pound in front of it. So Linux commands, if I just type in pwd, it will run the print working directory. But if I put a pound in front of it, even though pwd is a valid command, it is going to say it's commented. This is a comment section in shell scripting. So whichever one you want to say, like for example, list minus L, give you the list, or df minus h command. If you don't want to just say, you could say echo. This is a simple test. And then you could say, send this one to a file called test.txt, right? So now cat -n test.txt, it wrote that one. So if I just want to say echo name, say, let's say I just say Wahid, Wahid onto the file $test.txt. Now test.txt has those 2 lines, right? And then if I just want to write interactive shell script to read the content of that file, and then just say whatever I want to say, well, let's say I want to substitute this as a sample test to something else. So I could write a set command -e for substitute, and then I say substitute, and then I could just say this is a test to just say Lutfi, and then I could say globally, even though it's only one occurrence, I could do that one, and I want to say test.txt greater sign a t. Now the t file just got updated. I did a pin here. But if I wanted to do inline substitution, then I could do the same command without this, and I could say substitute -ie, and that would just now test.txt get updated there. So now I did it inline. Before it was only doing it on the file t. So let let me just show you the difference. If I do this one again one more time, and then I say run this one, I did not show you the difference. So interactively, when you do coding, you have to be careful. Test.txt here, that is the line, right? So if I just do this one with this greater sign file, notice that test.txt, it still has the line. Only I modified the file T. If I want to modify the test.txt, then I have to use this -IE for inline. And now I updated the inline. Test.txt has updated there. So similar to the T file. But I don't need the T file, I just showed you as a demo. So test.txt, I don't need it either, but I'm going to show you like test.txt. It has those one, and then you can say, let's do a while read string or var, and then do something with it, and say echo hello, comma, $sign var, and then you can do that one, and then done. Notice it say hello Lutfi, hello Wahid. And no matter how many names are on the list, you could just get it. For example, here, if you just say ls-l, do this, and ls-l start.mp3. So there's a lot of mp3 here, right? So if I just want to say ls-l and d start.x copy. Let's see what is x copy. Actually, copy. ls-l store copy store. So I have let's say what is the name store.mp3. I have to look it up again. X copy. So clear screen, and then if I want to just say and do x copy, why it doesn't find it? mp3. Okay, ls-ld mp3. Oh, ld. Okay, and then mp3. So ls-ld. Let me just see if there's a name x copy dot text dot mp3. It is there, and then this name was not shown up before. It shows up now. Okay, so somehow I might have typed in xcopy differently than what it is here. So let's say I get all those files with the xcopy extension. I could say awk print $2 and $2, and then I want to just say go ahead, do this one. $9, actually the file name. I want to get the file name here. And then at this time, I'm going to say, well, read a var, do, I'm going to say echo $var, double greater sign test.txt. And now I appended at the end of test.txt, cat test.txt, it had those two lines between Wahid, and I appended these other ones here. So if I just say here, cat -n test.txt, notice if I just want to append it again, it's going to grow that file. So that file is now a lot more 12. Every time I run this one, because I'm doing the double greater sign, it is appending it. So be careful with the data, that every time you want to grow it, sometimes you are writing to a log file, and if you're not rotating it, you could just wipe out, you could fill out the disk space with something like this. And if you're putting in a for loop for thousands of files and writing the logs or cron jobs running for days, then you have to look at the logs to make sure that the logs are not growing too big. And the way you could fill it up do it correctly. So instead of this double greater sign, you could do one time. And so now this file has only the line that it's supposed to have it. So cat test.txt, and then test.txt is only that line. And then if you just run it again, because we're writing only the last line of that one, it always appends to it as a one line right here. So notice that it's always only having the file, which is not something that you want. So you want to have those ones. What you could do is, instead of this, you could say use double greater sign and then do it, but then notice that you have the line there updated. In addition, this time you have one more time. This one is doubled, right? So you could use the unique command to sort it and unique it, and you could do that one. And so you could say cat test.text sort and then a unique, and that will just give you a unique of this one and send it the output to another one. But you could also do the same command that you did here. This time, and instead of doing this one, you could say if exist the file name that you want to do it test.text there, then use the double ampersand bin/rm test.text and then semicolon. So this would just do it, and then it deletes the last occurrence, and then it's going to just run the command again. So every time now you do it, it is just updated only the one that are listed there. No matter how many times it does, because it's gonna check for a regular file called name.txt and run rm on that file. Every time it cleans it up and then it appends it with data. So every variable is overridden with another one. Okay, I think we have covered enough for the interactive. Let's get to some more example of shell scripting here that I could demo for you. And so clear screen, PWD here, post name. So on MyWebUniversity, this one, cat -n etc host name, and that's only one entry. So this is cat etc os/release of Ubuntu, the one that 22.04, which is my local machine, long-term support, excuse me. So at this time I'm on this directory, and there's a file myextern.sh. Sorry, let's start extern. Let me see. Oh, I have to be on shells. So that extern store is there. My extern.sh, I wrote this one to just create more external. So when you're on the command line, you could open a term, let's say extern. If you just do without argument, it gives you this default background of black and foreground of white. But if you want to just say extern minus foreground of black and minus background of white, and font size is 13, minus font face is New York, and then run it in the background, you could do that one, and just it opens a nice white background and with a nice black text. So you can do the df- command, uname -a, clear screen, who am I? Any command that you do is working. So exit out of this one. Now you're getting this terminal, but the color was not recognized the white. They still gave me a white there. So I'm gonna just type, correct the typo and remove this one. I'm going to do that one now. If I just do df-h, it runs, and notice that it was not, and since I did it %, it gave me the job done with it. When you say press enter, it will say that is there. So if you don't do the differences, if you don't do this, and script runs until you don't exit out of this one, you cannot use this terminal, because this is waiting for this child process to be done. And the way you could see it, es -ef rep -i extern, you can see that I run this extern command. It invoked this other child process, of this one with this process ID of 29280 to the parent process ID of it, and it is waiting for it. So once I exit out of this one, you can see that one. I'll show you when I'm teaching Linux trace command and how to look at processes and other children process, parent process, how to take care of defunct process, zombie process. There's a lot going on there. This is not the session for that one. So I'm going to show you this one. Let's say I change the background. You can also put a different color. So the order of these flags, you can just put a minus background here, saying that you can also use a color coded here, like say dark blue minus foreground white, and then just use the same information and do that. But notice the dark blue was not as nice, so a dark blue. If you wanted HTML color coded, this is shebang, pound, and then 00 for red, green, and blue. So there's 6-digit number, octet number that you can use. I'm going to 6 hexadecimal value actually. The first two is 00. I'm going to say red, green. If I want to make the green to 15, this would just create a green color. So if I wanted a darker green is 10, it will give me a darker green here. But at the same time, I could change the red a little bit, like let's say 5, and then get the blue to 4. And now I get a little bit kind of different color than just previous dark green. So you could do that one, and if you just say, well, just give me the 10, I'm gonna just say this is 5, this is 05, and then this one is 15. So red, green, blue. The blue is going to look darker here, darker blue. Uname -A, cat PVC, OS release. And so you get the idea that you could change these ones on the extern. And if you wanted the red, obviously, and start with the red. If you wanted really red, for example, you could do this, that is darker red, right? So whichever color that you want the darker red, go like 15. And then that would give you the darker red, okay? And then calendar command and so on. So I'm going to show you my script that I wrote this one to automate this process, so I could have as many terminals that I want to open. And then my extern.sh. And then notice that I wrote this one for the purpose of giving a title and then having a font face, a size. So the font size here, I put it a font size of 15, which is a little bit thicker and then bigger. So let's see if that is too big or not. Clear the screen, say my extern.sh. This is just opening all those terminals in different colors. So this is the font size 15, and it looks nice. Clear the screen through df-h, calendar 2023, and then you can get calendar of 000, the 0001. That's the first thing, right? And then calendar 19070, that's Linux, or actually Unix epoch calendar. It starts January 1st of 1970. So you could do all of these commands here. At this time, if I just do exit out of this one, the next terminal that I open on my external script, it is that there. So if I say ps -ef direct -i, direct global regular expression friend -i extern. So notice that I have a few more extern open, that I did it with the font size of 15 and all that thing. So youtube.com at MyWebUniversity, the title, and you can see all of that nice title, everything is there. So you can close this one and then another color. And then if I just run the commands, I get a very nice output. So this is extern, and then exit out of this one, another one, df-h, ID, exit out of this one. This is, I believe, the last one. So ps minus ef grep minus I extern, and then I'm just gonna do grep minus I extern. So if you want to just terminate that one, you can just terminate it on this, this interface here, or you could just say kill extern, and that killed it. So notice here it is there. So let's say my extern data I'm going to open another 5 of them, but notice here all of them are just open, right? So I have as many as I want, but at the same time I say ps minus ef grep minus I extern. If I want to do a pkill extern, it close all of them. So now if I just say ps minus ef grep extern, it's nothing, just a grep command. Grep minus v grep, it is there. But if I say my extern .sh, I want to show you another way you can do the same thing. So now you have all these terminals open. Let's just kill them. So in order to kill them, you just first say how many are there. So let's say do a word count minus L. It is 5 of them. And then awk $2 is the process ID of them. Since I want to just, I want to give a space between awk and that's why it did not return. So here you could say, well, read PID, say do echo working on PID, say kill -9 and $sign PID, and then I'm done. So now I'll kill all of them. And you see working on this one, and you just see it is done. At the same time, if I just run this external command, there's none. Echo $sign question mark is going to say return 0 successful. So if I just want to copy the same one, running this extern again, now it opens all 5 of them. So leave it here, 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 and then you want to open kill on the terminal that you're not logged on from. So otherwise, if you try to do it from the blue screen or red screen or one of those external screen, you kill yourself, then you're not going to have the session. That process ID, when I said killing yourself, I meant the process ID. Nobody wants to kill themselves. Sorry about that. So what my extern.sh, when we kill the process ID of ourselves, we just are going to terminate our command here. But at this time, if I just do this and look at the process that are there, great. And now I'm going to say while read var actually do, and this time I'm using the variable, say echo killing the process ID of $sign var, and then I'm going to say kill -9 $sign var. Done. So now it killed all the process ID, and it does give the process ID that were similar here, the number, and it shows here the process ID. So this is how you do shell scripting interactively. And now if you do this one, there's no process on external. So the external I showed you, I want to show you some more of the loop learn Unix by example. demo demos clear screen ls minus l store.bash. So as you can see here, I have a number of bash script, and so I'm going to demo one of them. Let's look at this sleep 5.bash. Cat minus n sleep 5.bash. Basically, it is going to go to our for statement, and it's gonna look at the variable num in 1 to 5. If $num equal 1, then it is gonna sleep for 1 second, and if it is else is gonna sleep for the number of second based on the, if number is 2, then it's gonna say sleep that one. Done with the sleeping, and it is gonna tell us thanks for watching. So let's run that script, say sleep this. So the first one is waiting for 1 second, and then second 2 seconds, sleep for 3 seconds, and until 5. And then at one point it says thanks for watching. How easy it is, that one is to write a script within a for statement. And notice the syntax of the for statement and the if statement, everything. Here you basically say for num n 1 through 5. This could be a sequence, or it could be any array, 1 to any number of digits, and do and done. Within the do and done, you're using an if statement. If $num equal, this is equality with the numbers. If you're using a string, then they use the equal symbol. And then you do sleep for the number of second, actually do a sleep, and then do the else part, and go for the number of second that it is there, what is coming from the number. And then at the end, say thank you for watching. So let's go another one, store.bash. Let's look at hello.bash. More hello.bash. It's basically using shebang user ben env bash, and then just say that one. And this is say echo hello world, and then also get the URL and says thanks for watching our YouTube channel. And then this is youtube.com at MyWebUniversity. So if I just say hello.bash, it will just say hello world, and then thanks for watching our YouTube channel, and then it's gonna tell you the URL that was here. The URL is a string, so it is saying echo $string. These tabs are just giving you the space between the tabs. And then this is /ln as new line characters that are added here. If I just want to run this one on a different shell, like C shell, I have to change this one to C shell, and then I have to look at my statements that are there. So like these ones are URL, these are like export command. I have to do set env in the state, and then don't put equal sign there. But just to show you a couple of C shell, more f.c shell, and this one is looking at true C shell. So once you have true C shell, which I did install it earlier, I believe. Let's see. First, I know that this clear screen, which true C shell, it is there. So I'm going to say use a ben true C shell. So when f.c shell, before I run it, I want to just say I'm going to show you the line numbers. So set mu, you will see the line number 1 is saying user ben env through C shell, meaning that env should load through C shell. Then after that one is everything is C like syntax. So the for each statement, notice it says for each statement, and there's an end statement here. So sport, and then the variable names or the array are separated by a space. That's the syntax that you could do for this. If the sport is soccer, says I love playing sports, soccer in this case. And then so on, all these other for statement for each statement. I'm gonna quit out of this one, and then I'm gonna run it, say f.c shell. Clear screen, and sorry, I mistyped it, and there's no C. So no such file or directory. So it's a f This one is a C shell, so clear the screen. You just run it like this, f.c shell. That would work there because the other syntax was a bash syntax. This dot string slash. If this was the dot bash, you could profile it like that also, export the environment. But on the C shell, you could also say source dot this your C shell here, or actually through C shell. Source dot slash f dot C shell. And then that would just source it there. So running it from the source, we'll just run it. And if you say which through C shell, and then user ben through C shell. So if I could say vim f.c shell, let's just copy f.c shell. I'm gonna say f1.c shell dot through C shell. I'm gonna say user ben through C shell in the first line. F1 dot through C shell, user ben through C shell. Then F1 dot through C shell. I'm gonna say user ben through C shell like this, and then don't use the environment variable. This is head -1 F1 dot through C shell. Notice the difference between this one and this one. The first one, the first one had the name C shell. So clear screen here, and then this is the first one that has the shebang, which is dynamic, and then this is the one that is not the dynamic through C shell. I hard coded. So the hard code would still work, source f1 dot through C shell, but because when you do the first line, notice this one it works for this reason. And if I look at this one, the first line, when I say which through C shell, it says it is on the user ben for so file user ben through C shell, it is there. But if you're putting it in an environment that through C shell is not installed on that directory, then you will have portability issue. So be careful with that one. Okay, and then similarly with other shells. So if I go to ZSH here, notice my shell changed here. I could say, for example, interactive shell scripting, I could do it, or I could create a file and then do it. So let's just write a for statement here and say for I in sequence of 10, and then I'm gonna do a sequence of 10 within this backtick. This say do echo the number is $I, and then done. So you can see that works perfectly good. If I just change this one for the for statement and just come back here, I could also do $, sequence, and instead of the backtick, I could use this one. It would also work. So there's different syntax and different ways to do it. This would work on Bash as well as ZSH. And then with ZSH, you could also say env to get all the environment variables, and then set env if you export export a name as equal, let's say Wahid, and then equal $name. You could do all of that there, and then you could say that for statement. You could say like that many times, or colon $I colon hello and $name. So you could say that 10 times as 1 through whatever 9 or 10 times. Say 9-10 times hello Wahid. You could do that one. And if you just decide to use a laugh out cap command or something, and let's see which laugh out loud cat command is not there. Sorry, clear screen. Which laugh out loud cat. it is there. So if I just want to use the same command, and instead of that doing this one, hello, you can also say pipe it to loud cat, and then it will just print it in different colors as you do. And if you change the string to instead of hello name, you say hope you play and soccer 7 days a week, which I can't. So you could say that if the must. So you could write interactive as well as you could put it into a script and run it. So let's look at more of the script examples with C shell. So the for each statement for each dot C shell, we run it and it give you the output. Clear screen cat -n for each dot C shell is the script here, and then and dot sh. So the statements that are there, notice that I'm on a ZSH script, but if I want to say run the welcome.sh, it still runs. So that is based on the shell that I want to do. So if I want to exit out of all these shell and just open a new one and just say open new terminal and then make this screen as wide as I want to, and then I'm just gonna say go to programs, and then go to shells, sorry, and go to programs, you go, let me see where I am, oh, the desktop, programs, and then go to shells, and then I'm here now, loop, demos, and then now welcome is the script. So cat -n welcome $, and it's, you can see the script here. It's basically welcoming that many times with different colors. So if I just say this one, say welcome $, you can see that it's printing that nice color. If I just make the screen a little bit bigger, that's too much bigger. I'm going to just copy this line here and then exit out, open up a new terminal. Too bad you cannot pull Control Shift minus like you could do it with Apple products and with other Windows like Microsoft stuff. Once you grow bigger here, like Control Shift plus, you can do Control Shift minus. It does not understand it, and so it is a problem here. But maybe it is under the menu or other ones that they have the option that you could do. So you just have to look at that, and then cd to this directory here. Okay. cd to / programs, shells, a loop, and demos. So you can go in one shot here and then run the welcome.sh here, and it will print it out based on the format that you want it, and you get the output here. And then let me see if there's anything that I haven't covered on the presentation. I'll cover those ones. And then we just are going to end the video once we know for sure we covered everything. So we have covered, I'm gonna close this window so you look a little bit bigger. And then this one we already covered. And the next terminal, okay. The terminal command line, the shells we covered, the interactive shells, scripting, portability, and web programming. So web programming, we covered all of them. I'm gonna just cover the last part, which is gonna thank you for visiting my site, my YouTube channel. So there's a file called piece on .sh, I believe. Yeah. So I'm going to run show you this one then. piece.sh. So this one, I wrote it with some utility of just changing the banners and making it look good with the different colors and everything. So you can use laugh out loud command utility as well as Piglet and show fig fonts, all of those ones on the combination of them to just print you this nice background. So let's do this one. Clear the screen. I say peace and search. And it's gonna just basically thank you for watching our channel. And this is MyWebUniversity at YouTube at MyWebUniversity. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and then that's going to show that background. Every time you run it, you get a different list of colors, as you can see. Peace to you all. But before we end it, I want to do one more command and show fig fonts. So this is all the fonts that is available that I made some of those things. You can also say while actually do this and now we're gonna say grep colon. So that's all, shows all the fonts, and then at the same time while you get the output of that one, you could say awk print $1. That's gonna be the name of the fonts. So now we have the fonts. So you could say while I read var do I'm gonna say Piglet dash C for a character center dash font $sign var, and then we're gonna just say peace. And the word peace, we're gonna say that one and then we say done. Notice that every one of them, it says the word peace here really nicely. And then if you want to just do the same thing, this time on the center, but I want to just do a little bit color code with it, you can do that. So shell scripting is really fun. You could enjoy it. You're welcome to just do some more reading or watch my videos on YouTube. I have a lot of shell scripting, and this one is going to help you a lot also. And if you're interested on knowing some of the source code more, because I'm going too fast on it, please write me a note on the YouTube and I'll send it to you, the details somehow. Have a good one. Take care. God bless you all. Bye-bye now. And don't forget to subscribe on our channel if you haven't done so. It is MyWebUniversity YouTube channel. MyWebUniversity is the channel that you want to subscribe. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.